Outnumbered. I'm Andrea Tantaros, and here with us today, like every day, Harris Faulkner, Ainsley Earhardt, host of Fox and Friends First. Hi. Oh, yeah. There's Ainsley. Oh, now we have Kennedy. There she is, host of Kennedy on Fox Business's Kennedy. And today's hashtag One Lucky.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. You did so well that we just had to have you back.
I feel great. You know?
Masterful.
Thank you, Kennedy.
This
means a lot coming from you in particular.
Right, baby.
It is.
I'm glad you're along for the ride. I just got a little email that I'll share once we get going.
Oh, awesome.
I want to hear about this campaign you guys worked on together. I knew you worked on the campaign, but didn't know you worked together.
Maybe over some martinis, Ainsley. It's a long
That would be a Netflix
story.
show if we talked about that.
It would. Finally, breaking her silence in person, Hillary will hold what her spokesperson says will be a brief news conference this afternoon, which could happen in a couple of hours after her speech at the United Nations. Now, up until now, all we've got from I kind of want to know if they were considering a taffeta peach floral combination, don't you, Tony? I'm just kidding. We have planned a number of these type of crisis press conferences before. It would have happened sooner. What does she need to say today?
Well, first I want
to. I mean, James Carville came out yesterday and he said, "Oh, this is just Republican talking points, just talking points." But this is the New York Times. This is Feinstein today. I mean, you've conducted so many of these interviews. What would you ask her?
Just telling our producers over at the United Nations, they are now promising a brief press conference.
Foreign countries, particularly those who try to do business with the United States, who might have interest in having the family of the Secretary of State be happy with them. I think that's going to be a major issue. This one right now is a solvable problem. If she doesn't handle it right, it erupts.
Well, first thing I think as a former press secretary, when a spokesperson, me think that she's going to have total control.
She's not going to see that kind of outdated support.
And before we move,
would I ask her? I would ask her.
All right, in the meantime, I can't follow that. I mean, which story?
Real quickly. The water is warm now. Primary voters now, Democratic, say that they support Hillary Clinton more than any other candidate. The water is warm. Jim Webb spoke a short time ago.
Well, look, first of all, 40% right now, one of the few who's actually
We're going to talk about him later in the show.
Those trips up to New Hampshire and Iowa. But the bottom line is the White House does not .gov email with her private email. That's the difference. Not that she used the private email like others have in the past. She had her own server to house these public or 255,000.
It's not 55,000 emails. It's 55,000 pages. At the White House in 4 years. Here at Fox, we have a database where I could look up any of you. I didn't know that this existed.
Plus, not only is happening between the White House and between the State Department, Clinton's top staffers on those Benghazi talking points and how to message it. So it's really just not plausible. And I do think this causes problems for the White House. I think they should have thought before they marched the president out to say that he read about it in the news.
Or that he was, somehow surprised and caught off guard by the question on
importance. But maybe they need a class or something at this of dollars in federal money. We looked it up.
I think this is absolutely
not affecting her a lot, but there's been a lot of
talk about Elizabeth Warren. Doesn't really seem like she has the appetite or national organization for it. So you see these kind of small name governors like setting up the apparatus. I highly doubt whom animate a certain part of the Republican base. I think Walker and Rubio in particular seem to really indicate that Republicans want a fresh face that's a real conservative, but also will appeal across the aisle to other demographics, which is going to be important for us to win.
Kennedy, what do you think about, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, Harris, Jeb Bush, not exactly coming out on top in some of these polls. He's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. We've seen him in a couple of recent forums, and the room was chilly.
To do well, given Barack Obama's.
Part of this poll is 50.
But not too much? How does that work?
Well, sure. I mean, tough love is always good. I mean, my parenting on homework didn't go over too well. So let me see if my parenting on this might be slightly better. So I agree to some level that there's a balance between creating the illusion to your child that everything is always going to be perfect and they're always going to get the medal and the trophy, because that's not the case and that's not life. And you're certainly underserving them if that's what you're doing. But you do have to come up with good ways to make sure that they're
family business. You were part of that. And he was pretty much a disciplinarian.
Yeah, I was going to say the opposite of heaping too much praise on your child is what my father did. It was like fear and guilt and like, you're going to get yourself in trouble. You're too boy crazy. You're going to get yourself in trouble. It was like reverse psychology.
Was he wrong?
So I had this I still am boy crazy. This petrified sense that I was going to fail. And so I overcompensated to prove him wrong. Maybe not the healthiest childhood, but I certainly became, successful thanks to him and was definitely motivated. But, as he got older, he did realize that, okay, the tough love, I can tone down a little bit and I can tell her how proud I am of her. So.
I know he's proud.
Yeah.
Ainsley?
Well, see, I love these parents because these are the parents that set American Idol up. You know those kids that come on and they can't sing anything?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
and they think they're great. It's because their parents are like on the other side of the door crying.
Stop talking about my mother. That's so mean. I mean,
Parents
come on.
are great. We got to have these parents, because what would American Idol be without those kids?
All right, but when you look statistically, Kennedy, narcissists. When Bella and Danica do something, I'm going to hug them and say, "I'm proud of you." And
long message.
I'm reading the chat because people are already weighing in on this. You know what? I think
I mean, she looks amazing. I mean, even me after a stop at Chipotle for a burrito bowl with extra salsa and cheese. I mean, if I could look like that, good for her.
As long as it doesn't hurt the baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I worry that this is what I worry about.
If you have an emotional reaction, you should probably go see a therapist, because this isn't her
that has
fault.
a body like this. Lindsay Crosby, you know Lindsay. She has had 3 kids and looks just like that too. She bounces back. It's just
She bounces back. Hater bouncing back, staying right here for Outnumbered Overtime on the web, foxnews.com/Outnumbered. Click on the Overtime tab. Back tomorrow at noon Eastern. Happening Now starts now.